Is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, doesn't matter which type of routing here we are using, right, in this domain.
Yes. Yes,
Maybe
sir.
we
Also,
are
can you
using
please
a
start the
static routing
recording?
or yeah, recording. Sorry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Maybe we are using a static routing or dynamic routing in this domain, right? Till here to make all the prefixes reachable with each other, yes or no? Like 1.1.1 is not reachable to 2.2.2 by default, or 2.2.2 is not reachable with 3.3.3, or any network. Actually all undirectly connected networks are not able to communicate with each other because all are not reachable. By default, in the routing table of all routers, there are only directly connected networks. Like if I will talk about router 1, so router 1 knows only three network which is running on this link, network which is running on this link, and network which is running on loopback interface. Only these three networks are known for R1. In the same way for R2, this network and loopback, this network is known. For R3, this network on this link are known, right? For R4, network which is running on this link, and this link are only known network. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we have to perform routing to make all networks reachable with each other. So any routing, we have two choice. Either I can use what? Static routing or dynamic routing. So in last class we had configure a static routing, and today we are going to configure dynamic routing. So first dynamic routing I am going to configure, that is RIP. First type of dynamic routing protocol is RIP. RIP stands for routing information protocol. Done, guys? So let me
Done, sir.
configure RIP on all routers one by one. First of all, I am going to enable RIP on router 1. So here is my router 1. And to enable RIP, command is very easy. To enable any routing protocol, command will be router, and after that if you want to enable RIP, so you will say RIP over here. If you want to enable EIGRP, so you will say EIGRP over here. If you want to enable OSPF, so you will say OSPF over here, right? So now I am enabling RIP, so let's say router RIP. After that you can define version. We have two version in the RIP, version 1 and version 2. So let me ignore the version. RIP will enabled with their default version. Now I am going to say network. Network, how many network you want to advertise in RIP protocols? See, after running this command router RIP, actually router will allocate some memory for RIP. Before running this command, RIP protocol is not running on router, right? And RIP is still not enabled on router after running this command also. With the help of this command, actually we can allocate some memory for RIP. That by running router RIP, I am telling to router, hey router, please allocate some memory for RIP. I am going to enable RIP on the interface of router. So all protocols works on the interface of router, not on the router. Done?
Yes, sir. But also, what is the like as you see the it's like command router rep. What does that mean? Like,
It means after running this command router RIP, actually this router is going to allocate some memory for RIP. And now you are going to enable RIP on the interface of router. As I told you, RIP, any routing protocols work on the interface of router, not on the router, right?
okay.
So by network command, actually we will enable RIP protocol. RIP is a routing protocol that can be enabled with the help of network command. So network and 12.1.1.0. Guys, once I will hit enter, what this router will do, this router will check that this network is running on which interface. So you tell me, this
Okay.
network is running on which interface? On
So
F0
12.
slash 0,
Yes.
right? So it will enable RIP on F0 slash 0. Done. After that you want to enable RIP on F1/0 also. So on F1/0 you are running network this one. So
Getting
this. After that, if you want to enable RIP on loopback interface, so 1.1.1.1.
one.
By default, auto summarization is enabled in RIP, so I am going to say no auto summary. Later on you will understand this. Done. Now here, if you will verify routing protocol, so you can run command show IP protocol to verify which routing protocols you are running. So here you can see routing protocol is RIP, and
Rip.
these are the
Oh,
network. These are the
mhm.
network for whom you are performing routing over here on this router. Done. And these are the interface on which RIP is enabled. Done.
Yes,
Now
sir.
still show IP route. In the routing table, is there any more network is there? No. Is there any other network are there, guys? No. These all are
No.
directly connected network. But once I will enable RIP, right? Once I will enable RIP on router 2, what router 2 will do? Router 2 will share this network with router 1, and router 1 will share this network to router 2. Done. In the same way, router 2 will share this network also to router 1, and router 1 will share this network to router number 2 automatically, right? So that's why in dynamic routing protocol, engineer don't need to define the route. Router itself is going to install the route, going to learn the route. So see, on router number 2, I'm going to enable RIP router RIP. After that, no auto summary, let's say, and network 12.1.1.0, network 2.2.2.2, and network 24.1.1.0. I have enabled RIP on all interface, and now if you will check routing table of this router, so IP route, you can see, is there any route? No. Still there is no
That
any
correct.
route
Root.
learned by RIP protocol. So IP route. Now you can see R here. R stand for
Rip.
RIP. That means this router have learned one network through RIP. That is 1.1.1.0/8. 1.1.1.1.0.0.0/8. But this is not 1.1. Sorry, 1.0.0.0/8. You know, we have two version of RIP. RIP version 1 does not support classless routing. So that's why RIP is advertising networks with classful. So what we can do, we can define version 2 as well. Router RIP and say version 2 over here also, and on router number 1 also I am going to say version 1. Router RIP and version 2. Done. Now show IP route. Soon it is going to advertise 1.1.1.1 as well. See now. Okay. On this router, if you want to check that I am performing routing for how many networks, you can run command show IP protocol. In the protocol, you can see you are performing routing for 2.0.0 network, 12 network, and 24 network. In the same way, I am going to enable RIP on router 3 and router 4 also. So on router number 3, config T, router RIP version 2, say no auto summary, and network 3.3.3.3, network 13.1.1.0, and network 34.1.1.0. So IP route RIP. If you want to see the routing table of RIP only, you can run command like this. So soon it is going to learn some networks through RIP. So IP protocol. Okay. So IP route RIP ping 13.1.1.1. So connectivity is not there between router 1 and router number 3. I have to troubleshoot it first. So IP interface brief exclude unassigned. Always try to filter the output. So see, this interface is actually administratively down.
Down.
So let me run nusat command on F0/0, say nusat. Done. And so IP route RIP. Okay. So now reachability is there.
Or the port was down there. Why there?
Yeah,
Why there
earlier
was no
port was
ping, right?
down. Yes.
Okay.
Now you can see it have learned 2 network also, 12 network also, 24 network also, one network also. Yes or no? All networks
Yes,
through
sir.
RIP protocols. Now I am going to enable RIP on router number 4. Enable config T router RIP version 2, say no auto summary and network. On router 4, 24.1.1.0 network, 34.1.1.0 and network 10.1.1.0. I have advertised all directly connected network. So IP route RIP. See 1.1.1 is there. Yes or no? And here
Yes, sir.
also I am going to create one loopback. Actually I am going to create some more loopback on this router. Interface loopback 1, IP address is let's say 4.4.4.4 and 255.255.255.0. I am going to advertise this in RIP router RIP version 2 and network 4.4.4.4. Done. I have advertised all prefixes. Now all networks are able to communicate with each other. If you will ping
Yes.
4.4.4.4, sorry, 4.4.4 from here, source is let's say
Yes.
1.1.1, you can see communication is happening. Yes or no? That means all
Yes.
networks are able to communicate with each other now.
Mm.
Right? Done.
Yes, sir.
So it is easy to configure. Like if you will configure a static routing, then you have to run lots of commands on all routers. But if you are configuring dynamic routing RIP protocol, it is very easy to configure. Now I am going to take you on edge router. On my edge router, see, this interface is connected with ISP. This interface is connected with ISP. Now I cannot run or enable RIP on this interface, on WAN interface, right? I can enable RIP on this interface only here. Then how I will get 8.8.8 prefixes in my routing table? Guys, you will never get 8.8.8 in your routing table, because like 8.8.8, there are million of networks connected with ISP. Yes or no? And it is not possible to install all prefixes which ISP have in your routing table. Yes or no? Yes or no? So we cannot
Yes,
configure
sir.
RIP routing protocol between ISP router and
Yes.
your edge router. Then what is the solution? Here we will configure default route. First of all, let me enable RIP here. Router RIP version 2, no auto summary and network. I am going to advertise only 10.1.1.0 network over here, right? So this router will get all private networks in their routing table. So IP route RIP, you can see right? But this router don't have 8.8.8. 8.8.8. So like 8.8.8, there are million of prefixes behind ISP. So here actually we are going to configure one default route 0.0.0.0. Default route means for all the networks which entry will not match in the
Yes.
routing table. Suppose if router is receiving a traffic where destination is something that is not present in the routing table of router, then only router is going to use what? Default route. So I will
Default.
configure this default route towards ISP here. Okay. So let me configure one default route over here. IP route
Route.
0.0.0. 0.0.0 means any network, for all network. Subnet mask is any 0.0.0, and for this exit interface will be fast Ethernet 1/0, and
One
next
slash
hop
slash
IP
zero.
address will be 101.1.1.2.
Zero.
Done.
Oh, sorry.
Now if you will check routing table of this router, you can see gateway of last resort is set. Gateway of last resort is 101.1.1.2. To network 0.0.0. That means whenever match will not found in the routing table, router will forward traffic to this IP address. Router will forward IP traffic to this IP address. This is gateway of last resort. Whenever entry will not match in the table, then router is going to forward traffic to this IP address. So now if I will ping 8.8.8 from here, it will work. Ping
It should be. Yes, sir.
8.8.8.8. So router is going to use which route? 0.0.0, because 8.8.8 is not available in the routing table of this router. Yes or no? So
Yes,
see,
sir.
this is nothing but default route. This is nothing but default route. Now R4, R1, R2, R3. On all routers you need to configure one default route, yes or no? Because now I am able to ping 8.8.8 from router number 4 from edge router. But can router 4 ping 8.8.8? Will router 4 have default route? No. Router 4 don't have default route. So IP route. Here you can see the gateway of last resort is not set. Gateway of last resort is not set. There is no any default route. So what we can do, either we can configure one default route on all routers, it will be complicated task, or I will advertise the default route which I am running on edge router in
And
RIP
edge.
domain. If I will advertise this default route in RIP domain, what RIP will do? RIP will advertise it to router 4, router 4 will advertise to router 2, router 3, and this router will advertise to router 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so same thing I am going to do on edge router. Config t router RIP, and here if you will put question mark, you will
Network.
get one option, default information. So say default information, and then again if you will put question mark, so you are getting option originate. Distribute default route, right? To
Oh,
distribute default route, you can say default information originate. By running this command, you can originate a default route in RIP domain. Now edge router is going to advertise default route to router 4. So on router number 4 you can see so IP route. Is default route there, guys? Yes, through RIP.
yes, right, sir.
And gateway of last resort is 10.1.1.2. 10.1.1.2 is running on edge router of F0/0. In the same way, R1 will also receive this default route. Here also on router number 1 you can see show IP route. So gateway of last resort is 13.1.1.1. Okay, and this default route you can say is reachable via both router 2 and router 3. Two path is available for default route. It can reach via 13.1.1.1 also, and it can reach via 12.1.1.1 also. If I will down one interface, let's say I am going to say interface f1/0 is down, shut down, and do show IP route. Now you can see gateway of last resort is what? 12.1.1.2, and there is only one route. Again I am going to say no set and show IP route. So still wait. Again you can see gateway of last resort is 13.1.1.3. So whenever there are more than one path available for the default route, it is going to use higher IP address as a gateway of last resort, because 13.1.1.3 is higher than 12.1.1.2. Yes or no? Done. Hope it is
Yes, sir.
clear. Now I am going to remove default route. Okay, leave default route should be there. Now what I want, see, for default route on router number 1 there is some metric and AD value. So you have to understand what is metric and AD value now. So let me discuss that first. Rakesh, are you there? For that you have to understand route preference criteria. Route preference criteria. Guys, anyone have knowledge about route preference criteria? Anything do you know about route preference criteria?
Yes, sir. I'm here only.
Yeah, tell me route preference criteria, brother. See, brother,
So I don't.
you don't know?
No, sir.
Okay, don't worry. See, I have a topology like this, suppose. I have one router over here, and this router is connected with one another router, and this router is connected with one more router over here. Done. Okay, this is my, let's say, R1. This is, let's say, my R2, and this one is, let's say, R3. Right, done. On router number 2 I am running one network 10.1.1.0/24, and same network I am running behind router number 3 also 10.1.1.0/24. If you are running any routing protocol like RIP, or any routing protocol, let's say you are running, so what will happen? Both router 2 as well as router 3 will advertise same network. Yes or no? Yes or no, brother?
Yes, sir.
In this scenario, router 2 will also advertise this network to router 1, and router number 3 will also advertise this network to router number
Router
1. So router 1 is getting same network information from two neighbor. So router is going to select which one is best. For me, which one is best? Which path is best? Via router number 2 or via router number 3? Every time whenever router will get same network information from more than one neighbor, router is going to check which one is best. And for best path selection, first of all, router is going to check longest prefix match. Longest prefix match. Getting my point? But here in this scenario, suppose here I am running network 10.1.1.0/26. Done. Or /24. Here I am running 10.1.1.0/16. So this time router is getting same network information from both sides. It is going to check what? Longest prefix match. So prefix length is higher via router number 2. Yes or no? Router 2 is advertising prefix with length 24 and router 3 is advertising prefix with length 16. So which one is best? Via router number 2. Longest prefix match is always preferred. Are you getting me? Are you getting me, guys? If one neighbor is advertising a network with /24 and same network someone else advertising via /16, so /24 will be always preferred, right? Longest prefix match will be always preferred. So prefix length is higher, that means that prefix is best. But in this scenario, in my scenario, here you can see prefix length is same from both sides. Here also it is /24, here also it is /24. Done?
Yes, sir.
Prefix length. So if prefix length is tie, then router is going to check AD value. Second thing is, first one is prefix length. Second thing that router is going to check is AD value. AD stands for administrative distance. Guys, this is trustworthy of a route. Trustworthy of a route, and lower value is always preferred. Lower is always preferred. Lower is best. Done. And all routing protocols have their own AD value. Like RIP have what AD value? 120. RIP have what AD value? 120. For directly connected route, AD value is, see, on any router, if you will check routing table, so IP route, here you can see AD value, this one is AD value. AD value through RIP is what? 120. And for directly connected network, AD value is what? 0. Are you able to see any AD value for directly connected prefixes? No. Here if I am configuring one static route, let me configure one static route, IP route, and let's say 100.1.1.0 255.0.0.0 and exit interface is, let's say, 1/0. Done. Just I have configured any static route. What happened? Subnet mask is incorrect. IP route 20.1.1.0 255.0.0.0 and exit interface is, so this one is right, fast Ethernet 0/0. Do so IP route. Just I am configuring one default route, a static route, IP route 20.1.1.0. Subnet mask is 255.255. Let's say 0 and fast Ethernet 0/0. Done. I have configured one static route over here. Now if you will check routing table, so IP route static. For a static route, AD value is nothing. Yes or no? For a static route, AD value is actually 1, guys. So IP route. Or for all RIP prefixes, you can see AD value is 120, and for directly connected network and for a static route, you are not able to see any AD value. Yes or no? Because here you have configured a static route by using exit interface, so it is considering it as directly connected network. So let me configure same static route by using next hop IP address, let's say 12.1.1.2, and I am removing the exit interface. Where is a static entry? Here you can see AD value is what? 1. So always keep in mind, AD value isn't trustworthy of a route, and for directly connected network AD value is always 0. For a static route AD value is 1, and all routing protocols have their own AD value. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Both are clear.
So I am getting a default route on, suppose in this scenario, 10 prefixes. Router 1 is getting 10.1.1.0/24 network from two neighbor, from router 2 and from router number 3. From both side it is getting through RIP protocol. So AD value will be what over here? 120. AD value will be what over here? 120. So here AD value is also tie. Then router is going to check what? Third thing, that is metric. That is metric. And all routing protocols have their own algorithm to calculate metric. If I will talk about the RIP routing protocol, so in RIP, metric is nothing but hop count. Hop count is a metric in RIP. So this network 10.1.1.0/24 network is how many hop away from router number 1? 1 hop away. Only R2 is there between this network and router 1. So metric will be what? 1. From router number 3 also metric will be what? 1. From this side also it is 1 hop away. From this side also it is 1 hop away. So everything is tying. Prefix length is also same, AD value is also same, and metric is also same. Then router is going to perform what? Load balancing. Load balancing. Then router will install both path in their routing table. So that's why in my topology, see, router 1 is getting default route 0.0.0 from two side. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Actually, router 2 is also giving default route to router 1, and router 3 is also giving default route to router number 1. And router 1 is doing what? Router 1 is performing load balancing, because metric is same from both sides.
Same.
Sorry, AD value is same 120, and metric is also same. Why metric is 3? Because default, to reach default route, how many hop are away? Where I am running default route, guys, who is advertising default route? this router, yes or no?
Edge router.
And see, there are 3 hop between your default route, yes or no? So that's why metric
Yes.
is 3.
Correct.
Metric in RIP is nothing but hop count. Okay, so hope it's clear. Now on
Yes, sir.
router number 1, my requirement is different. What is my requirement? That there should be a default route on router number 1 via router number 2, right? There should be a default route on router number 2 via router number 2. But in case if router 2 will goes down, then it should use default route via router number 3. Done?
3.
My scenario is different. So what I can do, I can configure default route manually over here. So if I will configure default route, for that AD value will be what? 1. So do you think router 1 will accept default route from RIP? No. RIP is giving, means router 2 is advertising default route with AD value 120. This router is also advertising with 120. And if you have configured default route on router number 1, so AD value will be 1. So it will use this path, this route. It is not going to accept from RIP protocol. Yes or no? So let me do that. On router number 1, if I will create one default route, config t IP route 0.0.0 0.0.0 and say next hop IP address is 12.1.1.2. Done. I have configured one default route over here. Now if you will check routing table, so IP route, say gateway of last resort is now what?
12.1.1.2.
Now it is not accepting default route from RIP because it has already with lower AD value, that is 1. Yes or no? So why I will take to RIP? Done, brother. But now there is only one default route. If R2 will goes down, then what will happen? Yes or no? So I need one more default route with higher AD value. With higher AD value. And that is nothing but the floating routing. Let me configure one more default route 0.0.0 0.0.0 and this time next hop IP address is 13.1.1.3, means via router number 3, and here you can set AD value manually. So let me set AD value what? Manually, let's say 10 over here. Now so IP route. See in the routing table, route is default route is there via 12.2, or you can check like this. So IP route section 0.0.0. So see default route is there via router number 2 via 12.1.1.2. But if you will check running configuration, so run section 0.0.0. See there is 2 entry, yes or no? One is via router number 2 and one is via router number 3. So if router 2 will goes down, if I will down interface F0/0 says shut down. So do so IP route. See default route is so I think I have not done shut down this interface. Still this router have 12 network via router number 3. Actually you know what is happening? Actually through RIP, R2 is advertising 12 network via this, like this. R1 is getting 12 network. So what I am going to do, I am going to down the interface on router number 2 also. So let me
Yes,
take you
sir,
on
from
router
both
number
sides, so
2.
that's why.
Yes. So on router number 2, if I build down interface F0/0 and say shut down. Now 12 network is not available.
Yes, sir.
So it will not get 2L network. Soon it is going to remove 2L network from their routing table. Yes or no? And now you can
Yes,
see
yes, no.
gateway of last digit is also what changed.
That
Yes or
means
no?
yes, sir.
Now gateway of last digit is 13.1.1.3.
3.
ONS 2L network will come up. ONS 2L network will come up. It will install it via router 2. Say no set over here. And on router 2 also I am going to say again no set. No set. And now if you will check again routing table, so IP route, you can see gateway of last digit is again 12.1.1.2. So this is nothing but floating routing, means you have configured two default route on router number one with default AD value on one with higher AD value. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So hope it is clear, guys. Is it clear to everyone? Now can this user ping 8.8.8? Yes, this user can ping
Yes.
8.8.8, but for that I have to enable netting over here on edge router. So don't worry, we had not discussed translation now. Just I am configuring translation so that all user can access internet, but later on we will discuss translation as well, NAT as well. Okay, till now you don't need to focus on it. Access list, let's say 10, permit any. After that, IP NAT inside source. First of all, let me define interface f0/0 or interface range f0/0 and f1/0. IP NAT inside, these are my inside interface, and interface, sorry, on edge router, sorry. Now on this edge router, actually f0/0 is my edge router inside interface, IP NAT inside, and exit interface f1/0, this one is IP NAT outside. Done. IP NAT inside source list 10 interface f1/0 overload. Done. Now if you will ping 8.8.8 from here, it will be ping definitely, and router 1, let me check that router 4 is able to ping 8.8.8 or not. Enable ping 8.8.8. so see, all users are able to access internet. Yes or no? These router don't have root for 8.8.8, but still these router are able to ping 8.8.8 because all routers have one default routes. Yes or no? Ping 8.8.8.8. So if I am pinging 8.8.8 from here, it is going to use default route. So IP route, it will forward traffic to 12.1.1.2, means to router 2. Router 2 will check their routing table and it will forward it to 24.1.1.4. that means to router 4. Router 4 will also check their routing table and it will forward to edge router. So IP route C 10.1.1.2, and edge router have one default route towards ISP, so it will forward to ISP and ISP will generate reply. So actually this router is performing netting now. If you guys don't know about netting, don't worry, in upcoming day we will understand that, right? Actually this router is translating source private IP address into public IP address whenever traffic is hitting on the inside interface, and whenever traffic is hitting on outside interface, it is translating destination from public to private. Done. Now let me discuss something about RIP routing protocol. That is your first routing protocol. So first thing is show IP protocol. By running command show IP protocol, you can check configuration. Routing protocol is RIP. After that, I am running which version of RIP here?
Default.
Default. And default version can send update message to version 2 and it can receive the update message from version 2. Done.
True, sir.
Actually, we are not running RIP version, default version, brother. I am running RIP version 2 over here. Okay. This interface F0/0 have sent some update message, have received some interface message, right? Some message on interface, on all interfaces, right? Automatic summarization is not in effect. That means auto summarization is disabled by default. You know auto summarization means what? If your network is 10.1.1.0/24, it is a classless network, yes or no? If auto summarization is enabled, that means RIP will summarize it, G10.0.0.0. It will advertise only class full network. Done. So I have disabled automatic summarization over here. After that, maximum path that router can install in the routing table is 4. Performing routing for this network. Routing information source. Okay, so these are the gateway. Done. 13.1.1.3 and 12.1.1.2 is the gateway. Okay. After that, AD value is 120 and metric calculation is very simple, hop count. Done. Like 4 network, so IP route 4.4.4.4. So 4.4.4 is running on router number 4. Tell me what will be the metric for 4.4.4 on router number 1, guys? What will be the metric on 4.4.4.4? What will be metric? In RIP, metric is hop count. So how many hop 4.4.4 is away from router number 1? Tell me.
From router number 1
Yes.
to?
It is 2 hop away. So metric is what?
Yes.
2.
2.
Done.
Yes, sir.
2.2.2. For 2.2.2, what will be the metric over here?
1 from router 1.
From router number 1. Metric will be 1, na?
Yes, sir.
And if 2.2.2 router 1 is receiving 2.2.2 via router 3, that time what will be metric?
3.
That time metric will be 3. So that is the reason router 1 will install 2.2.2 via router number 2. Because router 1 is getting 2.2.2 network from 2 side. From router number 3 also and from router number 2 also. Both router are
Yes, sir.
advertising to router number 1. First router is going to check what? Longest prefix length.
Yes, sir.
So it will be same. Then it is going to check AD value will be same.
Yes.
Then it is going to check metric. So metric will be list via router number 2. So that is the reason it will install via router number 2. See, metric is 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, by running this command, so IP RIP database, what you can check. You know, RIP maintain 3 types of table: database, 2 types of table: database and routing table. In the database, you can see this network is directly connected. This network, for this network, auto summarization is If auto summarization is enabled, that time it will be 2.0.0.0/8. If auto summarization is enabled, that time it will be 2.2.2.0/24. And this network is reachable via 12.1.1.2, and this one is metric, and this network is available on fast ethernet 0/0. So there are detailed information of all prefixes in the database. Yes or no? There are
Yes, sir.
detailed information. Now see 10.1.1.0. This is the network which is running between edge router and router 4. For this network there are how many paths? 2 paths. Wire router number 2 and wire router number 3. From both side, metric is same. AD value is also same and prefix length is also same. So it will install both path. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
For 4.4.4 also. So these are the information that you can check over here. So IP rip neighbor. In this command it will not show you anything. This command will not show you anything. No. Only you have rip database command. After that, show IP protocol command to verify the rip routing protocol. Now rip sends their update message periodically. If you want to verify that, you can enable debugging. Debug IP rip, and you can say events. Now you can see it is sending rip version 2 update on which address? This is the
224.
multicast address of rip 224.0.0.9. On this address for version 2, and for version 1 it is 224.0.0.9. On which link it is forwarding it? On fast ethernet 1/0. Yes or no? So
Yes,
it
sir.
is showing you all information. Like you can see up, it is generating a periodic update. Yes or no? It is generating a periodic update. And all information, each information you can check over here. It is sending. And rip version 1 and rip version 2 both are not compatible with each other.
Yes, sir.
Done. Is it clear now,
Yes, sir.
everyone? Now our next protocol is EIGRP. So tell me, do you want to start EIGRP today or tomorrow?
I think we can start by tomorrow, but there's only like we are three guy here. Maybe like next week, so other people
Yeah, that
can.
will be better now.
Yes.
So let me first of all disable debugging, say on all over here. Yeah, so we will start EIGRP next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
that will be perfect. Yes, sir.
Okay guys, then bye bye.
Okay then.